Hey there folks, welcome to Spectrum Pulse. We talk about music, movies, art, and culture. And today we're going to be talking about the debut album from Lucy Hale, titled Row Between. So I've mentioned in the past that I don't really watch a lot of TV, on the count of not owning a TV. But when I do sit down to stream something, well, of currently running shows, that list is pretty thin. I mean, we got Last Week Tonight, Girls, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Mad Men, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the occasional episode of Glee or The Big Bang Theory. But with Community's unfortunate but expected cancellation and How I Met Your Mother's finale getting all the more frustrating every single time I think about it, my TV schedule looks pretty damn thin right now. One of the shows that I have not watched pretty much at all is Pretty Little Liars, the ABC thriller drama based upon a series of teen novels I haven't read, of which the most I know about them are from the mostly hilarious and occasionally really quite insightful recaps that I read over at Autostraddle. And from that very peripheral vantage point, I discovered that one of the actresses on the show, Lucy Hale, was going to be releasing a country debut album this year titled Row Between. Now look, I don't normally cover these sorts of albums. I make it a priority to mostly ignore this sort of soap opera to music industry fare, mostly because it tends to be pretty plastic, assembled by committee in order to give young actresses just yet another creative outlet, and especially when coming from Hollywood Records, which has a really bad reputation for this sort of thing. But considering I cover whenever comes out of the increasingly large number of singing competitions, which often have the very same assembly line process, and since I'm still the only country music critic on YouTube who actually give this stuff the time of day, and since I'm in favor of highlighting more women in country music, even if it is just pop country, I decided to give Row Between by Lucy Hale something of a chance. After all, it's got a song co-written by Casey Musgraves on it. It can't be that bad, right? Well, actually, no, it's not that bad at all. In fact, I can make this statement with little qualification. This will be one of the most underrated albums to come out this year because Lucy Hale's Row Between is goddamn excellent. My God, I did not see this coming. But putting aside lowered expectations entirely, this record can stand on its own as one of the best pop country releases thus far this year. Hell, forget that. One of the best country albums of this year, period. In a just world, this would be the sort of album that makes Lucy Hale a goddamn superstar, because I was floored by how incredibly strong this debut album was. No, I have not taken leave of my senses, but just this album clicked with me in a way like, well, like how Taylor Swift managed to click with so many people. Because, let me stress this is an album that plays very much in the Taylor Swift template, or, well, what used to be the Taylor Swift template, and I get the infuriating feeling that most people will dismiss this album on that basis, rather unfairly. But, like it or not, what made Taylor Swift's material so approachable and work in its better moments was that it felt like it was being written and delivered by a teenage girl for a teenage girl. Now, Lucy Hale is a little bit older. This is music by a young woman for young women. And the immediate benefit of that is she doesn't sound nearly as cute in her delivery. A little bit older with a little bit of a deeper voice, a little bit more seasoned with a little bit more life experience. And while her voice is not stellar, it does convey a surprising emotional range, from bubbly, upbeat passion to melancholy sadness to seething anger. And man, she really sells it. Lucy Hale doesn't have the quite as biggest vocal range in the world, but personality can make up for a lot of that, and she surprisingly won me over here. Now, granted, it really does help matters that the production and the instrumentation is, for once, and for a pop country record, shockingly on point. With the exception of the slight fuzzy synth line on That's What I Call Crazy, that just should have been cut out entirely, the production calls more back to neo-traditional country with the inclusion of strings, banjo, accordions, and even bluesy organ lines cropping up. But what's all the more impressive is the melodic compositions, because they are exactly what you should see in mainstream pop country and you don't see enough. A tight melodic focus to gently support her voice and never overwhelm her. And you know, there's so many little moments that just work for me here. I love the rollicking shimmer of the guitars from the backseat. I love the subtle melancholy balance between the various instrumental tones of Nervous Girl, Just Another Song, and Red Dress. I dig that whenever the organ cuts in, or the major focus that it takes on My Little Black Wedding Dress. I really appreciate the plucked tone of the title track. and Lie a Little Better takes a Shania Twain inspired groove and just adds a bluesy touch that just works for me. And while I won't say that the production is stellar, this is pop country after all, and I would always appreciate a little bit more texture in the mix, but it's a significant step above simply mostly by avoiding some of the obvious pitfalls. There's no gratuitous auto-tune, no ridiculous reverb or synth lines or electronic elements, just well-balanced backing vocals that are only there when they're needed, and sometimes less is enough here, and it works here. But you know what? That's not what won me over about this album. Nope, that comes down to the songwriting, which outside of Eric Posley might be some of the best in mainstream country to come out that I've seen this year. Simply on a poetic level, there's the forced rhymes and the corniness, they're minimalized, and the sheer sense of melodic flow that the lyrics and chorus have is astonishing. And while Lucy Hale didn't write the majority of songs on this record, only 3 writing credits out of 14, the contributors did put in some great work here. And as much as I want to praise Lucy Hale's songwriters for avoiding all the missteps that continuously plague Taylor Swift's songwriting, clumsy meter, painfully adolescent metaphors, the constant comparisons of her little love stories to fairy tales that just got ridiculous, in reality, they just brought in the 2 things that were missing from a lot of Taylor Swift's material: maturity and nuance. In reality, really, it lends real weight to the self-doubt and warring emotions of Nervous Girls, the wistful regret of Red Dress, the uncertainty of the title track, and the aching sadness of Just Another Song in My Little Black Wedding Dress, the latter of which has a lot of surprisingly sharp subtext regarding wedding culture and the expectations of women in this particular area. And it's these moments of really clever subtext that make these songs really stand out more than they should, even if it can get a little bit cheesy at points, like the head over heels love tracks like Loved from the Backseat and Lie a Little Better. Take, so for an instance, Kiss Me, a song about 2 exes who overthought their relationship into extinction and who are trying to get on with their lives, and even though they both supposedly want each other back. Or, you know what, maybe they don't, and it's only a moment of tipsy longing from Hale, and the fact that the song cleverly sidesteps that and doesn't have the 2 of them end up together, it's a moment of nuance that, at least a moment of depth and subtext that I really did appreciate. And then there's Love Tonight, a campfire song that deftly flips the stereotypes between bro country hookup songs and plays her intentions for that one night stand straight forward. And it ends up being shockingly progressive and a really great fit for Lucy Hale's older voice. Now, I do have a few small nitpicks with the songwriting and the album as a whole, but to be fair, they are way smaller than I was expecting. For instance, Goodbye Gone, it's a good enough kiss-up song about getting back at a cheating fiance or husband, but the chorus here could have been a little bit tighter, and the song could have afforded some heavier guitars to cash in on that vicious catharsis, which is what the song runs on. And there are a few clumsy lyrics in the opening single's chorus, You Sound Good to Me, and on the bonus track, Feels Like Home, that knocked them back just a little bit, even though I think on the latter track, Lucy Hale captures a lot of that homegrown feeling and loneliness being in the LA that way better than Miley Cyrus ever did in Party in the USA. And as well as on Red Dress, it's written and orchestrated as well as it is, and as much as I like Joe Nichols on that track, he's really not the best fit for that song, mostly because the age difference between the 2 of them makes the song a little awkward and distracting. I mean, come on, you couldn't have gotten Scotty McCreery for the interplay instead? His clear lower tones would probably have been a better fit. It's not like he has anything else to do right now. But look, I can't believe I'm saying this, but this album, it's great. There's not a bad song on Row Between by Lucy Hale, and I can't deny that it really got to me in a way that Taylor Swift never really managed to. Her instrumentation has great flow, Lucy Hale is a solid singer, and the songwriting has more maturity and nuance than anyone could have predicted. For me, this album is a strong 8 out of 10, and a definite recommendation. Folks, I know it's easy to look at the artist and the show from whence she came and the label in which she signed on and pass a lot of premature judgment. That's what I was planning on doing here. But you know what? This album is exactly what mainstream modern country radio needs right now. Go out and buy Lucy Hale's Row Between. I promise you won't regret it. So yeah, thanks a lot for watching. I'd like to like and subscribe. I'd be more than grateful. I was surprised how much I like this album, but yeah, seriously, go check it out. If there's anything I might be able to do to improve my presentation, or if there's any other albums coming out that you'd like me to take a look at, I'd be more than happy to give them a listen. So until then, I'm Mark, you're watching Spectrum Pulse, and I'll see you next time.